Welcome back to Bonsai Druid. My name is Suzy, and today I'm going to be working on a dwarf smoke tree, dwarf purple smoke. This is the Velveteeny variety, so it should be pretty small. It's still in the pot that I bought it in, so this will be its first repot. It just started budding out here. There's a lot of buds on these stems, so I may be bringing it back in some, doing a prune on this. I used to have the standard variety of this growing in my yard years ago, and I noticed that it had a tendency, well, what happened, the central part of it had died off, which left a situation like what's going on up here, where when this would divide, it's a very wide V. It happened down at the base of the trunk in the one in my yard, which created it to be very weak there. So over time, the tree just died back, and those things split from the weight. I could never get anything interior to grow to reshape it. So I'll be on the lookout when pruning this for bonsai, not to create this kind of a wide structure here. I think it weakens both branches, especially if it's happening on the main line. So there's kind of some movement in this trunk a little bit. You can see down here. The trunk kind of comes up and curves over to the right, and I have a branch which does narrow. It tapers to this one, but I would like to kind of remove this whole chunk. I would like even some bud even lower growing, or maybe one of these. Then there's a branch here, kind of comes up this way. I also have a taper if I take that side. This branch back here, not sure what I'm going to do there, because when we turn it all the way around, we can kind of see how thick it's already getting right here, coming up from here. We're going to end up with a knot here because they're like too much. So I might be able to take this whole branch off and maybe keep this little bud here to grow as a skinnier back bud or back branch. But this whole one may have to just come off unless I choose that for the leader, which I don't think I will, because this upright here has a curve to it, and I might give me some better option for taper and still keeping some movement in the trunk. Whereas if I were to remove this one for some reason, this comes way out to the side. That's not really how I want to style this tree. And it could also create, if I left that branch, this very Y shape that I don't want. Or deep, like wide, not even a deep V, a shallow V. So this branch may come off, and if I do, I will probably put some rooting powder on it and see if I can get any of this to grow as a cutting. Yeah, so we're going to get started getting it out of the soil. I have a glove on today because I have a cut on my hand, and I knew this one was going to be wet soil. There's no roots growing out of the bottom. Yeah, it's going to slide right out. There's some moss down there for now. Looks like the roots have pretty well wrapped around inside that pot. small one. I've always liked this tree. I love the leaf color. The purple smoke feathering of flower is cool too, but I really actually just like the way the leaves look. I did not have the Velveteeny variety before. It was not a dwarf, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how this looks as a small bonsai. And I'm talking like really small. Not sure Shohin or Mame. But rather than waiting for it to like grow up, I think I kind of want to make it a small bonsai. I could let it grow out more, but I'm worried that the internodes will spread out more. Right now they seem fairly tight. I have lots of little buds to choose from here, I think. This is wet and dense. There's a pretty good sized root there. Wrapping. Just because the way this is spiraling, these roots, like I don't really want to try to just cut this off. I'd really, since I've never been in this root mass before, I'd really rather investigate it. Yeah, I'd probably be happier being in a little more free-draining soil than what it's in right now. This is pretty waterlogged. I was in like one of these taller types of pots. For the size of the tree, I would have expected more water to be able to run through this. Tangled roots in here. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't try to wait another year to repot this. This is a lot of roots. Oh my goodness. It's really dense. I got some wild wandering roots in here. Here's the surface layer. I'm going to rake out what's there and see what might be creating some of these crazy roots. Wrap it all the way over there. Some more moss up top here. Uh-oh. Let me see a potential problem under there. I have to investigate that. It looks like I've got, not sure if you can see, there's a root growing straight here, but then there's another thing growing right under it crossways. So there's no telling until I get some more of this soil removed. It looks like I've got, not sure if you can see, there's a root growing straight here, but then there's another thing growing right under it crossways. So there's no telling until I get some more of this soil removed what I'm going to find under there. And it's so solid up in here. I do not know what is in here. I haven't been able to pick up any inoculant yet, so again, I'm not going to rinse these roots because I want them to have whatever beneficial microbes in the soil to stay around these fine roots. layer after layer of circling roots. I guess planting in a tall pot has benefits and negatives, pros and cons, because this deep pot is why this thing has taken me so long to get up to the level that I need to be at to put this into a bonsai pot. There's another big piece of wood in there. Still hunting for where the nabari is and how bad the roots are going to be right at the base of this tree. Oh my goodness, that does not look good. Ugh. Thick root. And they just keep wrapping underneath each other over here. So yeah, this whole thing has got to come out. I'll never get through here. Let's see. It's been a while since I've had a tree that had roots this twisted and knotted. I don't think I've had one this bad since I first got my corkscrew hazel. And I'm still correcting the roots on that tree. It's been at least 15 years more since I purchased that tree. Okay, I'm starting to get this loosened up to what looks like a really mess of a tree up here in these roots up at the trunk. I'm not sure what is going to be salvageable. Okay, I think I'm finally getting down to what is the bottom of the tree. And it looks like there's a root growing straight across the bottom of the base of the tree right here. So I feel like I'm going to have to get this all the way out. I see, I can feel it bending back into like an S shape or a Z. No good. Oh my god, look at that. Root coming down here, something going up under there, and then goes back down over here, and then there's this one, and then this one coming off. It's got some crazy legs on it. A knee knob coming back through here. I'm not sure what that's attached to. Up under here is a whole lot of corkscrewing and circling. Yeah, that's really dense right there. It's right there. So it's coming down under here and bending all over the place, and yet it's going over there. So I have to hunt down the end of this. And it goes back. Oh my god, is it that root right there? It goes around here. Okay, I'm going to just get in there and cut through it and find the disconnected end. And this end, it's actually, where are you? There. This root here is growing back up and under, so this whole thing's coming off. Wow. This thing is nothing but a giant knot. Like this right here is another one. I don't know what I'll have left for roots by the time I get done. But this will never live with all this circling going on. There's no way. There's a nice clump of fine roots on that, but I can't. It's growing all the way around. And so this one is too back here. This thing has so many roots growing in the wrong direction. There's like literally nothing growing in the right direction except like this one right here. I feel like I have to get this off. Can I do it? Can I get at it? Oof. Crossed my scissors all. That mess right there. We're down to this now. And I still need to get that piece out. I still don't want it under this root. Maybe that. Can I even source where this is coming from? It is coming from the bottom, up and over. It's only, really doesn't have anything of value this high up. I have to clean that up with another tool. Okay, so after removing all the crossing roots, and they were deep under this tree, this is what I've got left. Not a lot, and this right here still may be a problem, but I can't take that away because it really would have nothing. You can see that this trunk, it widens into a weird bulbous base. I don't know if this was like a air layer or I don't know, but we're going to get it into a pot. Let's see what options I have there. So this little tree can either go into this pot where it would be able to spread its roots out laterally, or this pot, which is a little more severe. It's got all the holes. This is the, I think it's Trigami Bonsai shoes, they're called. So this one might just end up growing roots right through the bottom and entangling itself completely inside this pot. So that's why I worry about this one a little bit. I am going to be trimming back the top quite a bit, but I think this one might give it more of a chance. This is just a standard commercial bonsai pot. But it could be buried to accommodate these roots and still be low enough to hopefully not develop any circling roots. So I think I'm going to go with this one. Some dust in there. Okay, so while I was on the other side getting the soil that I needed, I found this pot, which I think will do well. It's around the same size as this pot, except it's got more of a flare and lip. And instead of having all these holes in the bottom like a mesh, it's got 3 holes that will allow me to tie it in a little better into the center of the pot, which is kind of what I want, so that it'll radially grow roots, hopefully. So let's finish getting a screen over the holes. I really hope that this little tree can get corrected, because I really was looking forward to this smoke tree, but I had no idea it had this many problems. Let me get my scooper. Get my wires. Get a little more soil. Right under the middle. I'm going to set this down in a way where I can thinking like that. Not the greatest tie job in the world, but all I wanted to do is stay put. And it doesn't have a whole lot to grab onto. Kind of backfill under there. sure some of this will settle and some may come out holes or something at the bottom. When I water it in, I don't want to keep it too long. It's a little straighter up and down in the pot than I necessarily want it, but we're still in the stage of regrowing roots at this point. So what I'm going to do is remove some of this. Where was the one that I originally saw? I'm going to leave this as it is. I'm going to leave this as it is. This one back here, I'm going to take back. These here on this end here, this top, this is one long stretch of stick. So I'm not thinking that's looking great. This one here, there's a bud up here and right here, and I think I'm just gonna leave those two and see what else opens up the buds further down here. There's a lot of dormant buds down here. This one, I'm going to take off this long top and leave just this stick here, but eventually I'm sure this is going to come way back. So I'm going to leave it at that. I am going to stick these in some water with some rooting powder and get some cut paste on these ends. I think I'm going to use the liquid cut paste. I think it'll be nice at some point. So, messy project, but there it is. Let's see if we can make it easier to see background because I have so many obstacles on my table. So there it is at the moment. Nothing much to look at. I mean, I could end up taking off this entire side and just leaving that, but we're going to wait and see what happens. See if it lives. See how many of these buds open. And that might give us more opportunities, but first I'm just going to leave it alone, give it some water, let it rest, and wait for the weather to get better so it can start pushing out leaves and getting some restored energy. Thanks for watching. I know this was kind of tedious with all of the root work that had to be done, but I hope it'll all be worth it. This is Dwarf Purple Smoke Tree Velveteeny variety. Thanks for watching.